Man, you know this song going around on TikTok, man. I don't know if y'all be on TikTok or if you on Instagram, you see it a lot, man. You know, 50 floor eating hibachi. The Texans called the Bills and said, "You want to boss up your life? Come on,
Mm.
get with me." And that's exactly what happened because they got Diggs up out of there. They say, "Hey, Josh Allen, we seen you being so frustrated when Diggs keep showing you up on the sideline, saying like, what you doing, throwing the ball?" And then he slamming the tablet, but then only show up in the playoffs and get 3 receptions. Like, what's going on here? What's going on here? But today's Thursday. So yesterday, if you don't know, now you know. Four-time All-Pro wide receiver Steffon Diggs is now in Texas. Not the Cowboys, though. He's in Houston. Mm, 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 mm. Man, I thought Amari Cooper trade was bad, but this one here, man. So the Texans receive a 2025 second round pick at the Texans got from the Vikings, a 2024 sixth round pick in exchange for the player. So draft picks for Diggs. We got to talk about it, man. Will the Bills regret making this move? And I see, look, the Patriots fans show up. The AFC East is here, y'all. They here. So we got to start off with someone that's in the division, a Dolphins fan, J-Mo. Will the Bills regret this trade?
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, he's a great receiver. We all know that, but he didn't want to be there. I mean, they was obviously bumping heads. I mean, it was very obvious. They kept trying to cover it up. Whenever the media said something, they kept trying to cover it up. You know, making it seem like they were really cool. But I mean, everybody could see they were bumping heads, not on the same page. You know, for years. Um, and the Bills. Like the end of the season last year, Steffon Diggs wasn't even getting the ball. Like the second half of the season, almost. It was like what, the last 8 or 9 games, maybe. Everybody was saying that Josh Allen got too much on his shoulders on the offense. He's carrying the offense. They need to run the ball more, and they started running the ball more. And Diggs wouldn't, he wasn't getting superstar numbers, and they was winning. The defense was holding it down. They was running the ball. And they was winning games, and Diggs was only probably getting like 40, 30 yards a game. So they probably saw that and figured, we're not about to do all this arguing with our star player and our best receiver. Let's just get him out of here. It's probably some receivers coming up in the draft that they got picks for. So they probably going to draft receivers. But they probably feel like they got a quarterback that they probably feel like out of all the teams, they one of the few teams that have a quarterback that can afford to lose a top receiver because Josh Allen can carry so much on the shoulders as far as a football player. But they got Kincaid and what's the other tight end? Knox. Is it Dawson Knox? They got 2 tight ends, so they probably gonna be running 2 tight ends more, running the ball more. They probably saw the last stretch of the season and said, we probably better off without this dude, considering how they acting. So I can't really jump out there on either side of the fence and say whether they're gonna regret it or not. But I mean, they probably will regret it just because how good he is. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't fall off a cliff. Like the way they was playing at the end of the season last year, and the way Miami, as good as Miami played last year, we still didn't win the division. So I don't know what's gonna have to happen for us to win the division. And Aaron Rodgers coming back. So I'm not sure yet, to be honest with you.
Ah, man, Dave.
I think they will fall off some. And it's not even just because of the Steffon Diggs deal. It's because he has no good wide receiver right now because both of his top 2 receivers are gone, Gabe Davis and Steffon Diggs. I think that's going to take a little halter. But I do believe that they will now be forced to do what they did at the end of the season. That's run the ball a lot more to open it up for his tight ends because he does have Dawson Austin and Dalton Kincaid. So he'll be able to do that. But I also think that this puts them in position to make a move for a receiver, whether it's through the draft or trade. Now, what receiver they might get, I'm not sure. But I do feel like they are in. I don't think they made this move without a backup plan. I believe they have something else in place to be able to either move up to draft a receiver, or even stay where they are because they can get they can draft that kid out of Washington, because he is projected to be he is one of the top receivers in this draft, along with Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. So they don't have a lot of money, but I mean it's the NFL. There are ways to move around things to be able to make some things happen to continue to be a contender, a playoff contender at least. We can't necessarily say that they're a Super Bowl contender because they haven't really done much to really get over the hump, but they're at least a playoff contender almost every single season. Even last year when they didn't look well, they still made it to the playoffs and won the division. And also, we got to realize that Steffon Diggs did not play up to par at the end of the season last year. So that's another thing that takes into account as well. He's now in warmer weather, but is it because of warmer weather? We don't know, because in Minnesota they had a dome and the production also wasn't there at the end of the season in Minnesota. So what's going to happen now with the Texans? He has, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and, he has CJ Stroud that's throwing the ball along with Joe Mixon. So it may be better off for him, but it's his production going to be there later in the season. So I don't think the Bills would be missing his production at the end of the season. It's more so when the season starts.
Joe?
Yeah. So will he miss that? Will they miss up on Diggs?
No, regret the trade.
Regret the trade? Even
Yeah.
better question. Nah, they won't regret it. He would not regret it. And he actually played well in Minnesota at the end of the season. But here's the thing, y'all. All right. First of all, this is how you know it was crazy. Something crazy was going on. All right. If he would have stayed, Minnesota Vikings, the Buffalo Bills will have to pay $28 million to Steffon Diggs next year. But shout out to Tomo for posting this, right? They traded him. Now he's under the dead cap of $31 million. So they actually paying more money for him to not be there versus him being there. So that's how you know that it's more than just his production. It's more than that. So all the stuff we've been hearing on the sideline, like, they cool, there's nothing wrong with them. Nah, something was going on, and they got rid of him, right? But football-wise, will they miss him? No. All right? They won't miss him. So J-Mo hit something I was going to talk about, right? Last year, they got a new office. They fired the offensive coordinator, had a new one. So when he came in, they ran the ball more. They started getting success. They started going to winning streak. They started beating, teams that really were not good for real until they played the Dolphins. They built the Cowboys, stuff like that. But they started playing well. But here's the thing, though. When Steffon Diggs was there, right? This is crazy. I had to do my research, man. Put my thinking cap on. Shout out to Coach Coombs. He said this. In the second half of the season, he falls off a cliff because it's cold. I'm like, come on, Coach. You're just talking right now. Now, I'm watching. I see certain games. Like, okay, he right on this game, but come on. Like, how often this really happens? Listen to this, y'all. Steffon Diggs last 3 years, since they've been to the AFC Championship game. In his first 9 games, he averaged 7.8 receptions, 95.1 yards a game. After the first 9 games, he averaged 5.2 receptions, 55.1 yards a game.
Wow. That's a big drop off.
Last 3 years total. I'm not talking about combined. I ain't talking about just 1 game, 2 games, 1 year. I'm talking about all 3 games. In the playoffs since that AFC title game, right? 6 games they played, he averaged 4.5 receptions, 48.1 yards a game. He actually went down the second half of the season numbers.
Oh, wow.
So is that worth, you would say, is that worth $28 million, but Jordy playing 31? Okay, is it worth the antics on the sideline? Is it worth the beef with your quarterback? So maybe Steffon Diggs was right, maybe Josh Allen was wrong, but at the end of the day, you will value your quarterback over the receiver any day. All right, so they had to move off from one of them, so they move off of Steffon Diggs. So I don't think it would be a huge drop ball because when it was money time, he wasn't there in the recent years. And like we always say, it's endless receivers in this drive. They still got 7 draft picks this year. It's not like they depleted. They don't have any draft picks. Still got 7 this year. They got their first round pick. They got 2 second rounds, I think, or 2 thirds, 1 and 2, right? So they got draft picks. So they're gonna build through the draft, and now they are finally positive into the salary cap. Like first they was negative this whole offseason. Now they finally in the positive side. So I'm gonna say no, they would not miss Steffon Diggs. I always say, when the last time Super Bowl winner had a number 1 receiver, the best receiver in the league? It's been a while.
Fastest, but not the best. Oh man! Shout out to Kansas City. Yeah. Oh, I was talking about Rice too, but hey,
Right.
check out the
Oh
dog
my
house
gosh,
for
come
that
on, bro.
joke. Check out the dog house for that
Wow.
one. But
Wow.
everybody gonna wow me though. That's crazy. It's like a domino effect, man. But will they regret the trade? I mean, we won't know until the season actually starts because this started a whole debate in the actual in the NFL chat. If you're not in the NFL chat, we'll tell you how to get in there later. If you want to go now, click the link in the description, become a member. But it was more so about Josh Allen. Like, will this affect how Josh Allen plays? Will they fall off a cliff? Will things change? Technically, no, because the one thing that did change last season, outside of all the other seasons when Steffon was there, is that once they fired their offensive coordinator, after they were going 5-5, is they started to run the ball. So once that happens, if I see that we can run the ball and it makes Josh Allen look like a better quarterback, the turnovers stopped. Look at the one Dallas game where he only had 90 yards or something like that. He only threw the ball 4 times and they won the game. Like, clean Dallas up just by running the ball. That right there should have been a sign to Steffon Diggs that, hey, the tide is changing and all these antics need to go. Because if we can run the ball, get the ball to our tight ends, we effectively have a good football team with a decent quarterback. Josh Allen picks may go down because now he doesn't have to force the ball as much. The offensive coordinator loves I was about to say Dalvin Cook, loves James Cook. So he's like, look, I know what he can do. We get the offensive line together again, go back to the tight ends. Boom, we go get us a young receiver, build up that way. Because again, the AFC East is getting better. Patriots are getting better. The Jets definitely getting better. We'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers though. If he plays more than 4 snaps, then you have something. And Miami, they ain't going nowhere. So boom, you got that. Diggs, one of the best receivers in the league. But like you said, Joe, when Coach first brought that up, everybody in the chat was like, "Come on, Coach, what you talking about, man?" And then boom, the second half of the season, you go look at his numbers. He started to taper off. One thing I will say that's different about Houston than being in Buffalo is your home games are in Houston, in a dome. It's warm all the time. The weather is crazy down there. Watch out for them hailstorms and the random tornadoes. But outside of that, you ain't got to worry about coming out to 13 inches of snow. He still got to go on the road, though. Is he going to actually show up on the road? Is he going to make C.J. Stroud a better quarterback? Because, again, those same antics did happen in Minnesota. The antics, again, carried over to the Bills. Will he do the same thing now with a more talented team in Houston? Because they potentially have 3 number ones. I'm going to say 2 number ones because I seen your comment, Carl. But they have a better offense. And C.J. Stroud was making plays last season. He was getting the ball to the right person at the right time, not forcing it to a receiver because they wanted the ball. So is he going to learn from his mistakes and make sure that this team can be better? Or is he going to be the same old Steffon? Because if he's the same old Steffon, the Bills, like, we don't regret this. But if he makes the Texans better and they make it to the Super Bowl, they may regret it.
Yeah, remember last year, but there was some conversation late in the season if CJ Stroud should be in the MVP conversation, just because of how good he played in his rookie season. So I think this will help as long as the antics don't come with Steffon Diggs.
So that's the only thing they're not gonna miss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hold up.
All right.
I got y'all.
Shout out Blaze, Dino Blaze, 199 super chat, my chat enemy. Good morning, fellas. Today is a great day. Hashtag R2L.
Let's get it.
Count it.
Today's
Shout
a
out to my
great
boy
day.
Blaze. Hey, look, I got something to say right quick. I like how you said the Patriots getting better, the Jets getting better, and the Dolphins ain't going nowhere. No, we getting better too.
I know, right?
We getting better too. I just want to throw that out there. You know what I mean? We getting better.
I'm saying it like y'all already good. That's what I mean.
I know, right? When he said, I'm thinking like, what do you mean by that? Like,
Look,
I wanted to
what do you
click
mean
it so
by that?
bad. What do you mean by that?
But nah, y'all already there. You just got to make sure y'all got to figure it out with the
No,
quarterback.
you ain't got to tell me. You ain't got to tell me.
all right, but that's that. I let's get to these shows, man. Let's get to these shows. So look, y'all, Refuse to Lose Sports. It's not just a it's a network. All right, it's not just a show. It's a network, and I believe, okay, somebody kind of edit this, John. All right,